Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Here's a webpage you won't see much, at least from me. CNBC. White House tells businesses to proceed with vaccine mandate despite court-ordered pause. And there's the issue. There's the problem. When Donald Trump... Well, we'll go through the key points first. Even though this article isn't 100% accurate, I think it makes the point. The White House on Monday said businesses should move forward with the requirements despite court-ordered pause. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, considered one of the most conservative appellate courts in the country, hauled the requirements Saturday pending evening. Now, why is this in here? Why is that in there? I believe it's the Ninth Circuit Court is the West Coast. They're the most left-leaning. 90% of the time, Fox would say the Ninth Circuit Court. Republican attorneys general in at least 26 states have challenged Joe Biden's vaccine and testing requirements in 5 different U.S. appeals courts. The Biden administration asked the court to lift the pause Monday evening, claiming it will cost dozens or hundreds of lives per day. Lie. Lie, 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 lie. I thought the impeachment trial of Bill Clinton, even with all his faults, I thought was a misuse of the Constitution, frankly. It didn't even come close to the high crimes and misdemeanors, and people can get mad at me, and I said so at the time, and I still say so now. I thought the 2 impeachments of Donald Trump were even worse misuse of the Constitution. Worse, by far. Yeah, did Bill Clinton lie under oath? Yeah, technically he did. Who's going to admit you were screwing around with somebody when you were married? I don't consider that a high crime and a misdemeanor. But they did it anyway. And it cost the Republicans after that, to be honest with you. Just like it's costing the Democrats now with the 2 fake impeachments. But things were much different back then. The mainstream media, now called legacy media because of the internet, wasn't even-handed, but it was a lot more even-handed. Everybody knew that the vast majority of the media was left. Everybody, including conservative people, and they took that with a grain of salt when they read the articles or heard the articles or watched videos. Then the internet came and changed everything. And the mainstream legacy media was falling to pieces. Fox was the only one of the cable news stations to do okay. And then Donald Trump came along and saved them all. But I digress. But I'm trying to get to a point. The point is, the impeachment clause in the Constitution is there for a very good reason. To stop or have a check and a balance from one branch of government over another. In this case, the legislative branch over the executive in an impeachment. And then it goes to trial in the Senate. And the Senate basically is the jury. Basically what happens is the U.S. Congress is the indictment and the trial is the U.S. Senate. That's in essence what it is. And I believe all those impeachments. I don't know much about Andrew Johnson's impeachment. It was borderline. I don't know if about the comment, but I know for certain Clinton's and both the Trumps, I think were a misuse of the Constitution. That's just my opinion. But right now what I'm calling for is the impeachment of Joseph Biden. Donald Trump, whether you agree with the policy or not, got the money and got everything in motion to build the border wall. Whether you like it or not is immaterial. He went through the courts, took him years, transferred the money out of the military and all the crap and hoops they made him jump through. And every time an appeals court stopped him, he stopped. and appealed it. And it took a year and a half before they finally got all the court cases handled. This guy, this president, said, I don't care, in one day. Do it anyway. That is an impeachable offense. These progressives and leftists are taking the judicial branch of government and throwing it away. It only counts when the judicial rules in their favor. Let's see some of the lies that are in here. The White House on Monday said business should move forward with Joe Biden's vaccine and testing requirements for private businesses, despite a federal Peace Corps ruling a temporary halt to the rules. People should not wait, the White House press secretary said. They should continue to move forward and make sure they're getting their workplace vaccinated, even though the Fifth Circuit Court put a stop on it temporarily. Halted the requirements Saturday pending review, writing that the petitions give cause to believe there are grave statutory and constitutional issues with the mandate, and there are. And then it lists Republican attorney generals in several states, as well as several companies requested the pause. They argue the requirements exceed the authority of the occupational OSHA administration, which will enforce the mandates and amount to an unconstitutional delegation of power to the executive branch by Congress. Absolutely. Anybody that's being fair-minded knows that's a huge shift of power to the executive, something that the founders, it was always in their mind that one branch would overrun another. So the three were made to check each other. That's the theory. The administration claiming that pausing the requirements would likely cause dozens or even hundreds of lives per day as the virus spreads. That's a lie. And if it is true, okay, if it is true, then why did they give them 2 months to do it? It's basically 2 months from when it was announced on January 4th. So I guess those hundreds of lives per day for 2 months don't mean a hill of crap. They don't count. Nobody cares. This isn't about that. It's a power grab. It's a power grab. They're systematically trying to destroy the economy of this country. Now, we can go into speculation as to why. Everybody, all of us have our theories. And people a lot smarter than I have our theories. All unvaccinated workers must start wearing face masks indoors at their workplaces starting December 5th. Another overreach. It goes against HIPAA laws. The Privacy Act put in, I believe it was under Bill Clinton, the Republican Congress, giving rights to people in their personal health care status. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Unbelievable. A professor of Georgetown University said there's a high probability the case will end up before the Supreme Court. Yeah, but they're going to rule? Are they going to be milk toast again? Like they're doing with the Second Amendment issue that's before it now, the gentleman out of New York? I live in New York State, but not New York City. I'm way upstate. Instead of will issue permit, shall issue permit. Are they going to water it down? The court has been so wishy-washy lately. Here's the thing that I don't get. I watch Tim Pool's show a lot. He lives in West Virginia. His production facility where his show is in Maryland. You can walk basically across the street from Tim's production facility and end up in West Virginia where there's open carry. But in Maryland, there is no open carry. It's just like a driver's license. I thought that all issued permits were legal everywhere. The Second Amendment clearly states, shall not be infringed. Period. But yet we have these patchwork laws all over. New York City has the highest. It's not L.A., one of the two. Draconian and very oppressive. You know, it's unbelievable. And then, of course, we put it off to OSHA. And I'll breeze through this. More than 750,000 people have died. Yeah, I get that. And there's some people that I know that were friends of mine that died. It's sad, and it sucks. If that's not a grave danger, I don't know what else is. We have to put it to scale. We'll say there's 350 million people. 1% is 3.5 million. 5 times that. That is a ton. But if you told somebody, we're going to lock down your entire town of 100 people, and nobody can do business, nobody can go anywhere, because we'll say 200, make the math a little bit easier to figure out. 200 people are in your town, and one person is going to die because of COVID. One. So the other 199 have to destroy their lives. People would laugh at you, but it's the scale. 1/2 of 1% is actually more than are dying now. It's like 0.2 of 1%. It's a tiny amount. It's not a tiny amount when it's someone you love or know. I get it. Several friends of mine have died from it. An old lawyer friend of mine I used to know that helped me with the closing when I bought the building, when I bought my business in 2011, the building that it's in, that I recently sold. I went to ask about him and found he died of COVID. I've known it for a long time. Yeah, there's nobody that hasn't been touched in some shape, way, or form, either personally or through somebody you know. But this is not what this is about. This is about centralized government. One size fits all. That was the biggest fear, or one of the biggest fears of the founders. So after he said, do it despite the court order pause, I finally come around. I'm kicking and screaming and begrudgingly, I finally come around to the fact now is time to impeach Joe Biden. Now, here's the thing. It won't happen with a Democrat House of Representatives. And they hold it tiny, tiny. And then there's those 13 asshats that voted for the last huge spending bill. So you're never going to get enough. But the article should be filed and ready to go. And next year, when the Republicans have a huge majority, let them do it. And let them put out the dirty laundry of the Biden administration at trial and see how they like it. Will that water down the impeachment clause in the Constitution? Probably. But I am so tired as a conservative person watching people I voted for that represent me bring a knife to a gunfight. The Democrats and the progressives play for keeps. The Republicans go through the motions and are basically a speed bump to them. Now they're telling them to ignore federal courts. If Donald Trump did that, if Donald Trump said, I don't care what the court says, do it anyway, and said so publicly, and they called for his impeachment, I wouldn't have much legal ground to go against that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But is it really Joe Biden saying no, or the people that are really president? Either way, it doesn't matter. And my prediction still holds, by the way. The last part of January of next year, Joe Biden will resign, and Kamala Harris will be sworn in as President of the United States. I take no joy in saying any of that, but that's what's going to happen. We are in a huge constitutional crisis, and an economic one, and a social and cultural one. All of these things are going on simultaneously, and it seems overwhelming, but we have to put our heads down and get through it. He's defying a federal court, something that Trump never, ever did. Think about that. It is time to file articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. And I say that in sadness and no joy. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.